Monday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and that's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour here in the evening. And I work on projects from beginning to end typically. And then that way you can be part of the whole process along the way and work with me and just come and chit chat and have a nice evening, a nice chill evening. So thanks again for popping in. I see you guys coming in here now. I think it's going to be a pretty short night. Tonight I have some family in town and they're packing up, so I'm going to help them with that a little bit. They're going on a little trip. It works out perfectly because we are going to just finish up this floss thickness guide that we started working on, or that we were finishing up on Friday. It was Finish It Friday, the first Friday of the month. We try and finish up an unfinished project, and we added all this type. So it says floss thickness guide. I'll show it a little bit. I'll flip it around so you guys can see a little bit better. But we are going to finish this up to make like a cute little wall hanging. So we'll make a little bow for it. And I'm going to finish up the back so I don't have all this excess. I'll show you how I do that. So that is the plan for tonight. It might take a little shorter time, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I unpacked the car because my brother and husband are packing up the car with a bunch of stuff. They're going on a trip. But I took out my emergency craft project from the car. This is my emergency craft project. So, in case you need a craft project in the case of an emergency. I'll show you guys what I have going on in there too. Some of you might have seen it, but it's been a long time, and it's been actually a long time since I've worked on it, so, which is probably good. That means I'm not stuck anywhere in the car for a long period of time. But awesome. All right, I'm going to flip you guys around, and we'll get working on this project tonight. All right. So here is that guide. So what the floss thickness guide is, to start out with, so we only had this much done. So we had done this way earlier, and when I was cleaning the other night, I found it. And what it is I did sort of like a guide for myself that I can glance at for what the different thicknesses of threads look like. So typically you have 6-strand embroidery floss with all 6 strands. This is what it looks like with 5 strands, 4 strands, 3 strands, 2 strands, 1 strand. So significantly different as you go down the line. And the only reason you want to know this stuff is if you're working on a project and you want like some really delicate lines versus some fat lines, like what would that look like? So when we wrote this floss thickness guide, that's what we stitched on Friday. So, which is kind of a lot to get done in one session, but we finished it up. I was working fast. But this floss, the word floss is with the 6 strands, and this thickness guide is only 1 strand. But look at the contrast, right? First of all, the floss just looks more 3D with the 6 strands. This thickness with the 1 strand is just right up against the fabric. But look at what a neat effect. So it's just another thing you can use to get a different look in your embroidery, and I thought this would just be a neat thing to hang on the wall that I can reference whenever I wanted to see, well, like, I don't know, how thick do I want a certain line. Then these other ones, so it's the 6-strand embroidery floss from 1 strand to 6 strands here, and that's what we typically use with embroidery. And then these other ones are pearl cotton, which is that shiny, twisted sort of cotton floss. You can't pull these apart like the 6-strand embroidery floss. It's twisted all up. This is the size 5 pearl cotton. So that's what that looks like. So almost kind of like a 6-strand embroidery floss, just a different texture. And then here we have 12-weight thread. So this is actually, we've used this in the sewing machine before. It's pretty thick for sewing thread, but it can be used in the sewing machine for decorative stitches. And we embroidered with it. So this is 1 strand, what 1 strand looks like. And this is what 2 strands of the 12-weight floss looks like. So it's kind of neat. So you can kind of compare, all right, well, 1 strand is almost like, I don't know, maybe pretty similar to 2 strands of the floss. So, you know, you could interchange those. And then I just have Y for some yarn. And I don't even know what thickness of yarn this is, but I just kind of like it as a reference if I want to go even bigger. So, all right. So what I'm going to do first is I want to take this out of the hoop, only because I've decided I want to add a little hanger of sorts on here. And I thought maybe a ribbon, like a hanging ribbon, but I didn't have a ribbon, so I'm going to just use a bunch of embroidery floss. So I'm going to take this out of the hoop. It's actually really tightly in there. There we go. This is a spring-loaded, this is a vintage spring-loaded hoop. All right, and let's see. Oh, I think it goes this way. All right, and I want to get some thread for a little hanger. So I thought maybe we could use that same purple. I thought I'd wrap a bunch of strands and do that. So, all right, and then here's some of that blue. Maybe those two would be pretty together. We could add maybe some of this green, which is kind of similar to the yarn color. Let's do that. All right, so I just want to put together enough to make like a big loop of this. So I don't know, let's find something to wrap it around. All right, I think I'm going to, I just have this here. I think I'm going to just wrap some strands around here a few times and see what we get. All right. Ooh, wow, look at what a mess this blue is. That's probably why it's in my scrap bin. It looks like it's been cut at some point. You know what, I'm just going to cut that right now, clean it up. So I'm using all this thread is from my scrap thread bin, so which means it's in there for a reason. So it came from somewhere used, like it's an open skein of floss for some reason. Oh, this one doesn't even hardly have any. I need more than that. I was going to wrap it around a few times and see what we got. Oh, these are a mess. I'm going to be spending all my time like on scrambling these. All right. So let's pretend that this is how long my thing is, and let's go around like twice maybe. That looks like it'll be plenty. We'll do a really little bow on top. That'll be cute. All right, let's go right there. So this is becoming a mess. All right, all that we'll put back. Hey, Jennifer, we are finishing up the floss guide, and it'll probably go pretty quick. I'm just making a little hanger for it. Okay, so I have some, this is going to be my hanger. So what I'm going to do now is I want to put this in my hoop. Let's try and fold this in half, like where's the center here? Right, about right there. I want to put this in the hoop, but I'm going to loop these threads in the top of the hoop so I can kind of tie it into a bow. Kind of like that. Let's see if this works. Might have to shimmy things around quite a bit. Ugh. There, kind of like that. So we'll tie that in a bow. This is really tight already, so I just want to make sure it's at the top. That's looking pretty good. All right, let's just see that the rest of this is where we want it. I'm gonna get you guys a little taller here. Oh, it's gonna be so cute. Like even with that dangling there, it just makes it look just kind of sweet. I'm really happy with this though. I'll definitely hang it near us here. And yeah, when we work on some embroideries, which I'm hoping to do more of soon, I will get this on available so we can double check that we're doing everything how we want. All right, I'm going to try and scooch this up a little bit because I do need that extra little bit of fabric here. Let's see if I can really pull on there. Actually, this hoop is just so tight. You know what, I think we're going to just let it be because I kind of like where it's placed. I think it's just enough fabric there. This hoop's kind of, it's straighter on this side than this side, so it's kind of hard to center it. It's a weird shape. I don't know. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it like that. All right, so this I'm actually going to tie in a bow. Let's see, how do we do that? I'm going to tie it in the little knot right here. Maybe I should just tie a knot. I'd like to do a bow, though, I think. All right, so we can kind of hang it from here. And let's just separate these again. About like that will do. And all I'm going to do is just tie this in a cute bow. And this is all I'm going to do for a hanger. We'll trim them so they're the same length and stuff. Maybe it's a little excessive and weird with the bow, but I like it. Okay. Oh, I should have maybe... Oh, I did that goofy. I should have maybe hung it up a little bit better. All right, it looks like I'm able to shift it, though, as needed a little bit. So, all right, I'm going to just leave that there for now. I will trim that, but I might have to putz with it a little bit more. So right now it's just getting it out of the way. So what I want to do next is work on this back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the way around, and then I'm going to do a running stitch around this whole back, and then cinch it, and that's how I'm going to just finish this back. It's going to be just like really simple. So I'm going to just get my big fabric scissors, and without cutting my little bow off, I'm going to trim up these threads, and I'm going to cut around here, leaving, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch all the way around. Probably actually do a little bit more, but since the top only had so much, I'm just going to leave it as this. I'll trim that up. This doesn't have to be perfect either, but this is just a simple, cute way of finishing an embroidery, but still being able to see the back. I think it's sometimes fun to be able to see the back of an embroidery. Okay, again, I'm watching out for my loops. All right, there. Okay, so now I need a piece of thread. Let's see what we got in here again. Maybe I'll use this purple. And we're gonna want enough thread to stitch around this entire length plus have a bit extra. So let's see. Like enough to keep working with. So I'm going to go estimate about like that or so. I'm going to just snip that. And that is a lot of floss, like this 6 strands. I'm going to try and separate it into, I don't know, let's just use 2 strands. I really probably don't need a lot. So let's do 2 strands. It'll be easier to put together. So that's 1. It's quite a long piece. More than I usually do. Did we get stuck? Boo, wow. That doesn't happen often. I got stuck. Okay, I guess we're making it that long. I'm going to just snip this off. This is a much longer thread than I normally use, so we got stuck there. But I think we have plenty to work with still. So here's the second thread. Oh no, that one I was able to completely get all the way. Oh well. Let's put these 2 back together. All right, and the one ends there. So I'm gonna just trim it to that. Hopefully this is plenty still. Yeah, this goes around and we have extra. Okay. So I'm going to grab my needle, my embroidery needle, and I'm going to put you guys down lower again here. And I'm going to just do a running stitch all the way around this edge, like close to the edge. So we'll take some time to do that. And I'm going to leave a long tail. So I should have like a 4-inch tail here or so. So I'm going to start kind of like where this is, but only like, I'm like 1/8 of an inch or so, or a quarter, like between 1/8 and a quarter of an inch. So I'm just going, stitching around this guy with a little running stitch. Ugh. You guys, it's been raining here. Oh, but I did get a raincoat today, and that's been one of those things that's been on my list of annoyances and things that I want to get for like years and years. But I don't know, it's hard to find like cute rain gear and stuff that's you'll use and is effective and stuff. So I don't know. Finally, we went to REI today, and I got myself a cute raincoat. And it's like mustard color, which is extra kind of fun. I'm excited for it. But all right, so see, we got a running stitch started here, and I'm just gonna keep going around this entire thing. But this is gonna cinch in this back fabric. I'm pretty excited for it. I think this is a piece that I didn't think I was gonna make, and it's turning into something that I'm really liking. But I am hoping to do some more embroidery on here soon. I have a project in mind. It'll just be like a little quick embroidery that we could do, like if we need a break for like a couple days or something here. I think it'll be fun. That's kind of what this was like, little break. That's what Finish It Fridays are for. So this takes a little bit of time. It's a little more time than just gluing it, but there is like a special little handmade look to it, I think, with this little running stitch. That was just kind of sweet. So this is one of my favorite ways to finish a back. Oop, I'm getting a little far from the edge there. You want to stick to the edge. Oh, Jennifer, I like doing it that way too. So Jennifer says she glues the material to the hoop with the glue gun. That is another go-to way of doing it. I like this way from the sense that you can do it if you don't have a glue gun. One thing that I've been doing lately, like a new way that's just super simple, is I've just been taking some white Elmer's glue or just like some school glue, washable glue, and just cutting the fabric flush with the edge, and then putting a dab of glue all the way around. Then it's a perfectly nice clean edge. And there's no excess fabric at all. It's just, you just kind of glue it in there. There's no adjusting after that, though. It's not coming out. I do like glue gunning it to a hoop, though, too. Oh, former Minnesota, waiting, dealing with the 90s of Florida. Yeah, that'd be pretty tough for me, actually. If I just moved on to like I have a sweatshirt on today, but I think that's a tad too much. Like I was pretty warm today with the sweatshirt, so now I know too much. I gotta just go for like a light sleeve long shirt. That's the state of the state right now. All right, we're getting there with this. A really long needle would work well for this. Like if you have a doll making needle, that helps put like doll eyes on that are really long. The needles are long, not the eyes. But that would be, I could just weave in and out for a little while here before having to pull my thread through. But see how it's already kind of bunching? That's what we're going for. We're pulling the fabric to the inside of the hoop. Almost there, about 2/3 of the way. Oh, I'm excited for this. And you guys, so I think I mentioned this last week or on Friday, but I think for some of the rest of the week, this week, I think we might just do a bunch of Splendid Sampler 2 prep. So like I have a bolt of fabric here, or partial bolt, of my back color, like that cream colored, that yellow, that buttery yellow back color, and I have some stuff some white for the front, for the sashing and all that. I think, and some batting that we're going to cut up into squares. I think we should just prep all that, because then I can have it set aside and ready to go, and then I don't have piles of batting and bolts of fabric laying around here anymore. I think that's where my head's at right now. Some Splendid Sampler to prep before moving on to another block. All right, we are almost up to the top here. It's definitely a little fiddly, but we're getting it. Prep sounds perfect. Prep is always good. Yeah, I just think it'll be a nice little breather, and it'll make us feel, or me feel, at least like I'm getting some stuff done with that, and that we can crank out the second half of this quilt. Almost second half. I think 47 was our last block that we did. So we're on our way to halfway. Okay, I am back at the beginning. I'm going to come out near where I started, and I'm going to take my needle off. I want thread on both sides still. So I never pulled this thread through. I want to keep that there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get you guys up here a little bit again. But here, so all I'm going to do now is the thread end that was on the left, I'm going to put on the right. So this I'm going to put over here. And the thread that I finished on the right, I'm going to put on the left side. And I'm going to just pull on both at once. And that is going to cinch up this whole back. See? The whole back just kind of pulled to the inside. And that's exactly what I want. And then I'm going to just tie it in a little knot and a tiny little bow. There we go. Tighten it up. I might actually tie one more knot there. This is where you want someone with a finger to put down for you. We'll just go quick. All right. There we go. And let's tie this into a little bow. Make it really little. Just so we don't see it from the front. All right, something like that, I suppose. And I'll snip it. Yes, exactly like a yo-yo. That is exactly like a fabric yo-yo. That's exactly what we're doing here. But there. So it's all cinched in, and that's all I'm going to do to finish it. So the back is still all exposed. If I really wanted to, I could take this out of the hoop and maneuver it a little bit. And then, and then we have this little hangy job on the side. Let's let's I want to kind of finish that up. So it's kind of goofy. That's a lot of bow on the top there, but I think it's kind of cute. So let's just trim the edges so they're the same. Got one hiding in here. There we go. It's kind of weird with that extra knot, but I'm going to leave it. Oh, got away from me again. All right, we're going to just trim. I'm going to use my super sharp guy here. I'm going to go right across. Oop, missed one. We'll go across this way. Oh, it's so silly. I'm going to make that bow a little bit smaller, I think. I don't think I got all those threads. Ah. There we are. So that's what we're going to be. So this is I think how I'm going to keep it. So, now I can put a nail into the wall or something, and it can just go like right underneath this bow, which is looking crazier and crazier. But this thread is just kind of getting out of hand here. I probably could iron this and it'd probably stay in place a little bit more. But I think that looks fine like that. Cool! So that is that for that project is done. And look that's just a cute, fun, simple way of finishing up the back. So that was kind of it for tonight, you guys. I said it was going to be a little shorter tonight. Tomorrow, though, we'll start on all that splendid sampler stuff. Oh, but first, I wanted to show you guys. Here is my emergency craft project. So this is just a bin that I have in my car. So if we get stalled, or if it's pouring rain and I have to sit at a truck stop for an hour for it to go, I know I will always have a project to work on. So here's what's in it. First of all, it shuts completely. You can get tossed around. But it is a small little hand quilting project that I will never ever finish probably. But here we go. So this is what I'm making. It is a bunch of English paper pieced stars like this, basically. So some of the paper pieces are out, but I have a whole pile of prepped paper pieces. This is just from an old poster or something. Oh, it looks like I have a lot of these ready to go. And this is all old clothing, so this is just all recycled stuff. Gosh, some of it just does not fold over very well. That's interesting. So that needs to be stitched to something. But yeah, so I've been making a pile of those. It looks like I have 2 bins worth. That's awesome. And then, I have a little garbage bag. This is for garbage scraps. And I have my needle, or I have my thread in here, and I bet you have a needle. Yep, there's a needle and thread ready to go. I have a scissors ready to go. This is like it rolled around in the car one too many times. There we go. And I have some extra shirt fabric in here. So I have the white is the background. So I have extra of that, and then I just have a couple little cuts from some old shirts. Oh, and a glue stick, because in case I like glue baste some of this stuff. I thought maybe I'd start glue basting it. Definitely the little garbage guy is good to have. But yeah, so who knows? Eventually I will have a pile of these. That could be a quilt. But yeah, it is just nice. I did some of this. We were waiting for like a drive-in movie or something. It is just nice to have something available when you might need it. So anyway, I took that out of the car today because the boys are packing it full, but it is just so nice. And like I said, I probably haven't worked on this in years, but it is nice to have. Its sole purpose is to have it in case of an emergency. And like with all these other projects that just randomly happen, eventually I'll probably have a pile of these blocks and we'll sew it into a quilt at some point, or I'll at least have one really pretty block here that could be sewn into something. So I'm just so excited about this project, even though I know it may never ever get finished, but I know it's available to me if I really need it. So Once the boys come home, this will have to go back into the car because that's where it lives. It is meant to be discovered when I need it. So like for a picnic, this could just carry, I don't know, I just love it. So anyway, my emergency craft project. So all right, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll call it an evening here. All right. But yeah, seriously, having that emergency craft project. I have a second emergency craft project, and it is that purple doily that I've been crocheting with 12 weight thread with my grandma's old teeny tiny metal crochet hook. That I just have in a baggie in my bag. So like my go-to like bag that I bring everywhere for like to the office and anywhere else. That's that emergency craft project. But I have the special car emergency craft project as well, in case I don't have my big bag. But here is our floss guide, our floss thickness guide. So that bow is kind of crazy, but it's kind of cute too. But yeah, so we'll hang that up somewhere around here. And then it'll be just available for us to see. But I'm really happy with it, how that turned out. And I got to use this cool vintage spring-loaded metal embroidery hoop as well. So 2 things that were littering my area over here have now turned into something fun. And we're recycling all this floss too. Like all this floss is from my little, my Craft a Happy Life bin where I store all my excess floss scraps that are still usable for something. We've been adding to it, but we've been working through it as well. But awesome. So thank you guys again. I know it's a little short tonight. Tomorrow we will start up with that splendid sampler prep, I think. Let's just crank through some of that. That'll feel like we got pretty far on a project, I think, pretty quickly. So awesome. So thank you again, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night.